And I remember showing up, and because I had quite a few issues with abandonment and anger issues from losing my parents in high school. So I was the at risk young person of yesteryear, where I soon was led into the streets in gangs uh, after my father passed away. But I started with theater because somebody said they were doing Julius Caesar. And I had comic books. I had a million comic books of all kinds. And all these things these kids are looking at on the movies today, I read them growing up. And one was a classic comic book called Julius Caesar. And I had seen that done before uh, with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton and all of that, and it was so romanticized. Boy, I wanted to play Mark Anthony, and I showed up on time to the drama room, and the drama teacher sat there, and he had a little postage stamp stage, and I was there for 2 days and about 58 students. I was the first one there each time, and I was overlooked. And it was on the second day after everybody had gone and the whole room was cleared except for him. Uh, and he didn't turn back to see me there. He just knew I was present. It was only in hindsight that I realized how much I was an irritant to him. And he just said, "Is there anybody else who would like to read?" And I jumped up like it was the first day. And I said, "I would." And he said, "So what are you going to read?" I said, I want to read from Mark Anthony. And I saw 14 of them audition. I think I'm better than all of them. And he says, "Well, let me be the judge of that, kid. Get up there and let me see what you can do." And I did. And I read off to him, "Friends, Romans, countrymen, we came to bury Caesar, not to praise him." And he sat there, stunned. And I walked all the way from the stage up to him, and he seemed to look right past me. And I said, "Is that all right, sir? Is that okay, sir? Should I read more?" And he says, "Young man, I don't know where you came from, but you got quite a talent in that little body." I was about 4'10" or something like that. I was a little bitty kid with a bigger voice than I was. And he says, "But I'm so sorry we can't cast you as Mark Anthony because this school and community, sir, are not prepared for a colored Mark Anthony. So I'm sorry. I'd love to cast you, but you stick out like a sore thumb, and we couldn't have that, could we?" And so I turned to leave and got almost to the door, and he called me back and he says, "Well, young man, how would it be if I just taught you how to do stage management?" And I said, "What's that?" And he says, "Well, you're helping out with all elements of building the set and working with the cast and things like that." I said, "Okay, I'll do that. You be here tomorrow at 3:15 on the nose, and we'll start working." I said, "Yes, sir. I'll do that." And that's how I became introduced. On the last day of performance, we did about 4 performances. Uh, the kid that played Mark Anthony, his family got in a car accident, and he, even though they all survived, he broke his leg and could not perform. So on that particular night where we waited almost 45 minutes for him to show up, the drama coach sent word to me, working back in the costume room, get in costume, you're going to play Mark Anthony tonight. I played Mark Anthony. In my first few lines, I had a standing ovation from the audience in my first appearance, and I felt like as tiny as an ant. I had not ever felt anything like that in my entire life. And from that moment on, I was a theater person.